I've struggled a bit trying to come up with how I should approach this video, I'm not going to lie, because yes, I was pretty negative on this project at the start. I was one of the first OG Ashes of Creation content creators to come out and be quite negative at the start of Alpha 2. But I'm definitely not always negative about this game. In fact, I've often been very positive. I am actually, as I've said many times, I'm a big believer in the vision of this project. I really am. And for me, the vision that Steven has outlined really is a dream MMO. But it's a dream MMO for my playstyle. I should point that out because it's not a dream vision for every single player out there. In fact, it's probably not a dream vision for most players of MMOs historically, at least not in the last 10 years. But it fits my playstyle. That's why I really like this project. That's why I really play this game a lot, even though it does have some issues. Despite how negative I've been, I've played this game nonstop since the alpha came out in October. There's been minimal breaks, honestly, for me, and probably it's been a bit unhealthy how much I've played the game, but I actually do love the game, which is why I haven't had time to make a lot of videos about the game. I'm very busy playing the game, and I run a large guild called Genesis that takes a lot of my time as well, so that's really cut down on the amount of videos I could make, but I'm telling you guys, I love the game. It's a great game for my playstyle. Lately, I've noticed something that's started to happen. There's been a shift. A lot of the OG Ashes of Creation content creators have gone heavily negative on the game. These are the ones that would attack anyone who had the slightest criticisms of the game. And I'm going to be honest, I knew this would happen because a lot of these content creators came from MMO backgrounds and playstyles that very much do not align with this game at all. But I think that negativity and the lack of really any coverage of the game has left a void right now. I actually find myself in a weird position now because now I feel like I got to be the positive contrarian, and I was the negative contrarian early in Alpha 2. I think a lot of the extreme negativity right now is misplaced a bit, just as I think the extreme positivity was misplaced at the beginning of Alpha 2. Because in the last several months, we've seen dramatic improvements to the game. Some of the recent patches have been banger patches. The pace of the game's development has accelerated quite a bit. In the last few months, we've seen massive growth of the map, with huge updates to the tropics and the desert biomes. The new tropics expansion has been fantastic. Overall, the tropics biome looks fantastic. The new pocket dungeons and all the content is well done in those areas. There's still a lot more content needed to be added to the tropics and desert, don't get me wrong, but they're both looking really good. The desert is starting to look really solid. It was rough at one point, I will admit. Desert was pretty rough at one point. It's starting to look really good in some areas. In some areas, a lot of work is still needed. There's been great new areas added to the desert and the tropics, and a lot of people have never even gone to these areas and explored them. I haven't even fully explored all the desert, honestly, because some of that came in recently and I haven't even gone and checked all of it out. Then you had the addition of the naval system and the first ship added, which they call the Caravel, and so far the naval system obviously is very limited with just one ship, and you can't do like any upgrades to the ship yet, so it's basic. But the naval PvP, even in this early state, is very fun. My guild's been doing it a lot. We enjoy it. And then there's stuff that's really slipped in under the radar, like the relic system being added. This is an incredibly cool feature where a relic can drop from certain bosses based on certain predicates that I don't think players have fully figured out, to be honest. And maybe they have, or they're just not telling us, and that's quite possible too. But for instance, my guild, Genesis, killed Tumok the other day, and a relic dropped from it. There was a server-wide announcement on the virus server. Sadly, we didn't have the numbers online to actually transport it with our caravan to a node, and Polar was able to get it transported to Marileth instead. But still, despite our big L there, this is a very cool system that deserves praise, and no one is out here doing it, so I'll do it. In addition, there have been huge updates to the artisan system that have all been positive in my opinion, and some very great updates are just around the corner that I think will officially make this, and this is a bold statement, but I really think this will make this the best overall artisan system in the MMO genre, even though this game is an alpha. If you love gathering and crafting, this really is the only MMOs you consider right now. The crafting system in this game is of course very grindy, as everything is in this game, but there's so much depth and nuance to it. It's a very well done system, and I think you really owe it to yourself to at some point try it out if you like crafting in an MMO at all. Then we have the time to kill improvements, which were fantastic overall. Yes, the way they went about the changes probably are not the best. In an alpha like this, I think they were fine, but at launch, they did some catastrophic gearing changes that obsoleted a lot of gear that people put thousands of hours into, and at launch that would not fly. In the alpha, it's fine. In addition, I warned about this in a previous video, but archetype balance was thrown off a tremendous amount by the time to kill changes. They spent months trying to tweak archetypes balance when the main problem all along was the gearing. Now with gearing fixed, they have to go back and rebalance all the archetypes all over again. With that being said, the time to kill in the group PvP is now very fun. The combat has always been the strength of this game, and the lower time to kill has made PvP overall be in a really good spot. Large scale PvP still leaves a lot to be desired because of server performance, but even that has seen massive improvements since the beginning. And yet, again, not many are out here singing the praises of the studio right now when really it's starting to be warranted now. We're actually showing a product that warrants praise when in the past I didn't think they really had that. And yes, fundamental issues remain for this project. Like at times there is very poor communication by the devs, and the game is way too grindy, and it's not at all catered to a more casual MMO audience. It's built for a hardcore audience currently, really only for hardcores. And as I've always said, that's not sustainable long term. You cannot just cater to a hardcore audience. I personally am in that hardcore audience, and I enjoy how hardcore the game is, but they have to find a way to integrate the casual audience. But then they have to do it without alienating the core audience, which right now is just hardcore MMO players. Specifically, hardcore PvP MMO players, really. And then the communication issues can be chalked up to alpha, and it can be dismissed, I would say, for now. But some of this needs to be cleaned up by launch. Intrepid can almost never release a news article without having to immediately edit things in it, or they leave a lot of unanswered questions. For instance, this Phase 3 announcement was originally just a server merge of the two NA servers, and then that merge server would wipe at the start of Phase 3, which is now in August. Instead, Steven pivoted in a response to a question on Discord and promised a fresh start server on May 1 for players, but he still has not clarified if that fresh start server launching May 1st will actually wipe in August, so there's just a lot of confusion, and this happens every time they put out any sort of news release. All that being said, my opinion of the game has shifted a lot, and again, to be clear, privately, I've loved this game from the very beginning, and I've been playing it nonstop. Again, probably way too much to be honest, considering it's an alpha and everything wipes eventually, but I love games of this style, and that's why I keep playing it. My criticism at the beginning was the lack of progress after 8 years at the start of Alpha 2, and how this game, again, doesn't cater to a wide enough audience to, I think, succeed long term. And I still stand by those statements, but with the latest really great updates and big improvements to the pace of development, I intend to be quite a bit more positive on this channel than I have been, even with the limited amount of time I do have to make videos. I used to think this game would take 5 more years to develop. I think now 2 years is a real possibility, maybe even less than that, because Intrepid right now is really, truly cooking. I actually think the future looks great for this game and this studio as long as they can address kind of the core issue, which is they got to be able to cater to more than just the ultra sweats. I remember having some conversations with people after the Alpha 2 roadmap was released originally. We saw the roadmap, especially those of us that played pre-Alpha 2 testing, and a lot of us said it will not really start to become a game until Phase 3. As someone that's played nonstop since the beginning, this is starting to feel like a game right now. It actually feels like a game. And with the improvements that are coming in before the August 4th launch of Phase 3, I think it's starting to get into a really good spot. And if you've been holding out on trying out the game, I think now is really the time. Get used to the game now, then you are ready to go when Phase 3 kicks off in August. And hey, if you need a guild for Ashes, join the second best guild in the game right behind Otter Nonsense Genesis. Thanks for watching. See you guys in Phase 3.